Alright guys, time to go back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and more leaks coming out regarding this OpTic Dallas situation. The logo leaking yesterday, today some talk about their Twitter account, their TikTok account, what exactly is going on there. This, well, announcement which we imagine is just around the corner. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do to help this channel reach more people, and please consider subscribing if you have not already. Bottom right hand corner, you guys know the drill. Let's dive right in. This firstly from FaZe, Waze in the chat says Zuma in the replies. We're not really sure exactly what's going on right now in terms of where Zuma's going to be ending up. I still think FaZe 100 Thieves relatively likely, but still, I thought it would be announced by now. I guess we will have to see where the flank and, of course, Zuma in his content will go over the coming days. This also from Scump, 10 more days now, 9 more days to Call of Duty Vanguard. It's not far away, let's just put it that way. And yeah, Scump's certainly excited about it. He was talking on stream a couple of days ago that he's got a lot of good things planned, and well, I'll imagine under this new branding that he's going to be part of. Kind of crazy to think about the fact that OpTic, in, well, let's just say Dashy, for example, has been on OpTic for a long time now, from OpTic Gaming during Black Ops 4, then OpTic Gaming Los Angeles, then OpTic Chicago this past season, then going into like the OpTic Dallas, right? So it's kind of crazy how much has changed really with OpTic the last few years, for good or for ill, you could say. And well, anyway, this is what Scump has to say. This also from Priestahh. There's certainly been some questions going around about where he might potentially land. Is it going to be a starting roster spot? It seems relatively unlikely. We've seen, of course, the rumors came out last night with Paris and Washington, what they might potentially be up to. Priestahh not involved with any of those rosters, but seems to be in a pretty good headspace, and also says, well, he signed some sort of contract. Now, we would imagine this would be a sub spot somewhere. I'm sure the vast majority of teams haven't really considered what their sub spot is going to be. That's why this theory that maybe Priestahh is going to be the FaZe substitute makes a fair bit of sense. We know that Arcitys just cannot seem to beat Priestahh on LAN. Like, the last couple of times they've matched up, like Seattle Surge, for example, against FaZe at the Stage Right Major, Priestahh beat him last year during Modern Warfare when it was Florida versus Atlanta FaZe, and well, he beat him then as well. So there's a few times really that on LAN, Priestahh gets the better of his brother, his twin brother, since they split up after the United stuff happened during, of course, Call of Duty, well, after Call of Duty Black Ops 4 going into Modern Warfare, and therefore maybe FaZe have decided, alright, in order to make sure we don't lose to Priestahh again, let's bring him onto our books and get him on the sub bench. And of course, that would make a fair bit of sense, given Priestahh and Arcitys, I'm pretty sure, are living together again at the present time. This also from Vivid, cannot wait to load into a scrim again. He's getting ready to go. Seems like he's pretty happy and, well, prepared to go maybe with whatever this roster is going to be for next year. Rumoured to be, as we looked at yesterday, Methods of Vivid, Paul X, and Tisha Halley over at the Washington Demon Cats or whatever. We'll see how that one develops over time. But again, maybe Vivid pretty confident, of course, pretty much copy and pasting this tweet from Scump just a few days ago. So both of them pretty much raring and ready to go for the new season. Not far away until Vanguard does officially drop. This, of course, as we looked at yesterday, the OpTic Dallas logo has, of course, surfaced. And a fair bit of talk about this, like, is it good? Is it bad? What could you potentially change here? I'm sure, like, they wanted to keep the O in. There was some talk about, like, could you keep the crown in there somewhere? Because, to be fair, I think a lot of people liked. And I think one of the real shames about this merger, and I'm sure when it is announced, there's going to be a lot to talk about regarding, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Like, what does this mean for Call of Duty? But I think the Dallas Empire as a branding was the best in the entire league. I love the Empire branding. I thought the logo was fantastic. The kind of, well, as we'll look at right here in a second, as Real PD Gaming pointed out, like, this is one thing you could have done. But of course, what they did with the Envy logo is, well, at least they had Envy into the Dallas Empire's crown. Like, it was kind of made in such a way that you could see N and then the V. And I guess you can kind of see it right here again. You see the N on the left-hand side, the V over here, even though it was slightly asymmetrically done in the original Dallas Empire logo, just so that would be the case. But, I mean, still, that's going to be gone, right? So the Dallas Empire branding is going to be completely gone, and it replaced by OpTic Dallas. I think what they've come up with is nice and concise, and it'll probably continue to grow on people over time, to be honest. I think it's a relatively good job, well done, all things considered, but definitely intrigued to your thoughts now below. As the flag say, it is time. It's it shouldn't be too far around the corner at this point. I think it's relatively nicely done, but still just kind of crazy to think these two brands and these two well, competitors for so many years, OpTic and Envy, combining in this sense. And yeah, it's kind of crazy if you like woke up from a coma from a few years ago in Call of Duty when the E-Classico was the biggest thing, OpTic versus Envy, always having those cracking rivalries from way back in the day, but especially during part of the Jetpack era, Black Ops 3 Infinite Warfare. Now to think they're part of the same organization and the players have effectively merged is kind of crazy to think about, to be honest. But of course, finances rule all. It certainly does seem. I hope we get some good explanations from this, because a lot of talk, right, about the fact that, like, why isn't OpTic just staying under NRG? I think, well, I imagine the case is that the NRG aren't particularly happy with what happened really with Hex and the OpTic stuff, because it seemed to me that the relationship was great while it was the Chicago Huntsman, and then once Hex got the OpTic branding back and could rebrand that team into OpTic Chicago, he cared a lot more about OpTic, and kind of understandably so, than he did about NRG. And I imagine NRG weren't particularly happy with him effectively just running this organization under their umbrella without necessarily giving too much back in return. So maybe RG weren't happy with the relationship, and then Hex wants to divest anyway, and then he goes to Envy. It's kind of chaos. I'm sure we'll get some sort of explanations coming forward. But, well, this is COD Gamepedia point out. A lot of talk about this yesterday. I actually looked up, as soon as I saw the leaked logo, I looked up the Twitter account at OpTic Dallas and see if I could potentially find out what's going on. This was formerly the Twitter account that was OpTic Dallas. This is, well, as you can see right here, this is now called Tiny Kitten Cats. This was the exact profile picture on effort that I saw when I looked up at OpTic Dallas yesterday. And then, like, just a few hours later, people are pointing out that it's changed, and OpTic Dallas is now belonging to this guy called Mack. This is, I mean, I don't know, if this is like some sort of elaborate plan by, like, I don't know, Justin Pistachio or whatever, the guys over at potentially running this account now, it's kind of funny. So I guess maybe their idea is to just get this at, because, you know, this account used to be OpTic Dallas, and if you are a big organization like OpTic, you know, all this type of stuff, you can basically say, look, I want this at, this account has 2 followers, like, you know, just give it to me, basically. And you can either come to an agreement with the individual, or Twitter will just straight up say, okay, yeah, you can have it, or whatever the case may be, and they'll just change their at to something else. But I'm not exactly sure how it works. But anyway, it's not too hard for these big organizations to get the Twitter handle that they want, and then I suppose they try and brand it as something which isn't particularly suspicious. So anyway, this guy Mark is apparently 42, a sports fan, even though he's just appeared out of absolutely nowhere. And I mean, you know, joined May 2020, but his most recent tweet was with this one. Anyway, seems to be a Manchester United fan. It's kind of interesting actually what he's been tweeting here, because as he says, looking forward to the next Man United game, ... I'm not sure how many United fans are actually looking forward to the game against Spurs on Saturday, because I mean, you know, the Liverpool game, we don't want to talk about it. But anyway, this guy certainly has some interesting takes. But well, whether he's actually a real individual, that of course remains to be seen, right? Has he just been manufactured? Because as Crone says right here, I checked last night, and who the hell is this guy, right, who just popped up onto the timeline, who well, had 1 follower, then a fair bit more than that right now. This also is, well, Crits points out to me right here, maybe Justin Pistachio kind of social guys over at, well, social guys over at the Dallas Empire, now OpTic Dallas, are, well, on the Envy side of things, are also doing a good job here, because OpTic Dallas, no videos yet, like Twitter and OpTic Dallas, so it seems like they might be getting ready to go here. But who is this Mark guy? Of course, it's tough to say. This also, right, because as, well, Mark and OpTic Dallas says, looking forward to the next United game. Of course, it is against Spurs on Saturday. Does that mean the announcement's going to be on Saturday evening? Maybe that's like an elaborate hint that kind of quote-unquote Mark is giving us right here. Like, he's made a couple of other tweets about the whole situation. Personally, I'm not sure he has any idea what he's talking about, because yes, Conte might not be the perfect manager in terms of the way United typically play football, but giving Ollie any more time doesn't seem to be the best idea in my opinion. It's I don't really know how you can still get behind it after a result last weekend, but each to their own, I suppose. Fair play to Mark. Obviously, another way to look at this is to say, okay, this is some like American lads who just have no idea what they're on about, just putting tweets on the timeline. But I'll let you guys decipher that one down in the comment section below. So yes, maybe this Saturday the announcement comes through alongside the Spurs Man United game, or this is just a guy called Mark that somehow bought this account, which just seems completely random. So kind of strange stuff, to be honest. This is also from Deserto, which OpTic is the best OpTic of all time, and I mean, just the original OpTic game in Los Angeles. I honestly think OGLA was such a nice branding looking back on it, and then we've got OpTic Chicago, OpTic Dallas. It's kind of interesting, right? Of course, the original and the best, I suppose, but how it's developed over time is kind of strange. The OC was kind of nice, but I do like the color combination that OpTic Dallas has and the other logos have, in the black and the green. I always thought that was better than just the pure green that we have with OpTic Chicago. Another big question that comes out from the flank as well, place your bets, who will announce first? So a few things right now. OpTic Dallas for one, Paris Legion their roster for another. You've got the Washington side of things, what they're doing, and then of course Zuma, right? So I imagine Zuma's going to be very soon. Then I would think OpTic should be just after that. Then I reckon maybe Paris after, I don't know, it depends. If Paris have their roster pretty much confirmed, as it seems they do, there should be less complications for them to get their roster out there than with Washington that still have to start actually buying the spot and all the complications. Who's their general manager going to be coaching stuff like that? Whereas Paris kind of have that stuff figured out, you would imagine. At least Theory is their coach, right? And I guess GM as well. I'm not really sure they hire one of those anymore. This also from Kevy I thought was interesting, right? Just to kind of go back to that discussion, OpTic and Dallas. Man, I'm so hyped for Vanguard. Can't wait to see my favorite team, OpTic Chicago, destroy our fierce rival Dallas Empire in the next CDL season. One of the best rivalries in gaming. Hope we get to see them play against each other for many years to come. And well, not going to be the case anymore, it seems. Kind of, as I say, a shame that this branding is going to be disappearing. But of course, the players on those teams are, well, still going to be fighting it out on the organizations that they are now competing for. This also is nameless, right? Said right here, like this OpTic Envy merge. We looked at it a few videos ago, actually, that this isn't the first time it's happened. The true OGs remember Eon way back in Black Ops 1. They were essentially merged back then. This is a long time coming. And well, Team Eon is actually still a Twitter at, as you can see right here. This is from a different tournament a little bit later on. This is well, OpTic Gaming right at the start of well, this is the Modern Warfare 3. The first first ever Call of Duty XP raids with Merc, Big Time at Natron, and Vengeance, I believe, who disappeared off the face of the earth. But, I mean, yeah, Hastra and Hex on the side here. So, yes, certainly something which may well be happening again. Well, it is going to be happening again, as far as we know. But, yeah, not something which maybe has not been seen before in Call of Duty history. And just to finish off with this raid with Vanguard just around the corner, not far away until Shotty's going to be absolutely smoking people on, well, some of these, let's just say, questionable maps that we saw in the beta. Hopefully better ones when the game does officially release. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting the like button tells those YouTube overlords this was a good video. Other people like you should watch it as well and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care of yourselves and I will see you next time.
Oh, I'm about to hit Intel.
Teammate. You just got shit on. Don't ever try to do that again.
Mid, bro. Hold up, I'm backing up.
You watch my back? Cause I'm not.
Look what I'm doing to these guys. These guys are actually dog. Like, look what I'm doing. You guys see this? I'm gonna post this on YouTube.
Hold up. Another on me, bro. God, he's running past her.
I just turned on you. Yo, delete the game, Meech.